केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, before we begin this debate, I want you to think about one haunting fact. It has been 9 days since Twisha Sharma was found dead in her in-laws' house. Her body still lies inside a mortuary in Bhopal. No cremation, no final goodbye, no closure at all. Her family refuses to perform her last rites because they do not trust the investigation enough to let their daughter go just yet. Think about the scale of their grief. Just 5 months ago, they performed the vidai of their beloved daughter with hopes of a future full of happiness. Today, that child is gone. All they are left with is running from pillar to post, fighting for justice. Her brother, a serving army officer, is now waging a war against injustice, fighting for his sister, her dignity. This case is no longer just about a suspicious death. It is about disturbing inconsistencies, alleged influence, unanswered questions, and a young 33-year-old girl who has lost her life under suspicious circumstances and for whom justice seems a far cry. And the horrifying possibility that a young woman's cries for help were ignored while she was alive and her dignity is being destroyed after she has died.
Messaged me on the evening of Saturday that I'm trapped bro and तू मत फंसना and I'll call you when the time is right. So I asked her ki what happened and I'm worried about you, please to call me. She did not call me and I got this news on Tuesday after the 3 days of that message. So she was clearly saying that I'm trapped.
Why they submitted the belt, ligature belt on after the postmortem. So all they want to tamper the evidence.
The mother of the accused, the prime accused there, Mrs. Giribala Singh, is going from one media channel to another, leaving no stone unturned just to defame the deceased.
33-year-old Twisha Sharma was found dead on the 12th of May, 9 days ago. Samarth, her husband and a lawyer, went absconding hours after his wife's death. Absconding and is still missing, not found anywhere in this country. A lawyer, the son of an additional district judge, gone missing for 9 days. Nobody can find him. A young girl has lost his life. The parents crying there, calling out for justice, not even performing the last rites of this young girl. But the husband is missing. Nobody has any answer. Think that. Let that sink in. His mother, Giribala Singh, a retired additional district judge, is the one who has been speaking to media about the case, and this is where things get deeply disturbing. Twisha's family says that Giribala herself an accused in the case, and yes, she is. In the family, when a suspicious death takes place within 5 months of a woman's marriage, family is an accused. But she is being alleged to be using her legal knowledge and institutional access to manipulate the case and its perception, with no regard for basic dignity for a dead person. Giribala launched a slander campaign against Twisha in holding press conferences as an accused, talking about the case, giving certificates, making statements about the young girl, Twisha's even psychological status.
हमारी लड़की बिल्कुल गाय है।
सी 5 महीने में तो मुझे तो सतही तौर पे लग रहा था कि दैट द गर्ल काफी स्वच्छंद विचारों की थी। इसने क्योंकि उस समय बताया यस मुझे बच्चे बहुत पसंद है, आई विल हैव एटलीस्ट 4 चिल्ड्रन, अम्मा आई लव दिस, मुझे प्लांट्स बहुत पसंद है। लेकिन सुबह में जैसे वॉक करके आती थी, पौधों पर पानी डाला, वो कभी देखती नहीं थी पौधों की तरफ। का ये जो इट वॉज अ कंप्लीट फार्स, इट वॉज अ कंप्लीट नाटक। या तो वो नहीं समझती थी या उसके अंदर वो जो 2 व्यक्ति हैं वो उसको आड़े आते थे। एक तरफ पौधे अच्छे लगते हैं, एक तरफ बच्चे अच्छे लगते हैं, लेकिन पौधों की देखरेख नहीं करना है, बच्चे नहीं पैदा करने हैं। थोड़ा सा ऑब्जर्व किया, हैंड्स पे थोड़ा शिवरिंग था, विच इज टिपिकल ऑफ विड्रॉल सिम्टम। शायद यहाँ आने के बाद जैसे 30 तारीख को आई है, उसके बाद उसको दैट सोर्स ऑफ एनी एडिक्शन तो कट ऑफ था ही। They were earning out of all her, you know, her looks and everything. वो earning का साधन तब थी, and now I think they are just trying to catch some mileage and earn some more.
The most chilling piece of evidence in this case is an audio recording. Listen to this disturbing interaction where Tisha's brother confronts his sister's mother-in-law, Giribala Singh, just weeks before Twisha was found dead. Imagine the mother-in-law of a newly wedded bride asking her questions about past relationships, about promiscuity, and indulging in sex for favors, questions that she asked her daughter-in-law.
I want to understand why those questions have to arise as to Beta, if you have slept with other people.
Who was this?
Was there any point?
Who was this?
Amma asked this to Twisha.
I didn't say slept with anybody. I said the
Did you
kind
do-
of intimacy.
Yes. Did you do it for a favor? Did you do it to get some monetary benefit or some favor?
When was this conversation?
सुन लो. What is the context? She was saying that he keeps accusing me. He says he asked someone. It's a very foul word and it's not the way it's used. It's not to be said. He said he's never said that. I don't know. He said and we said we don't know. Some people do it to earn, to climb the social ladder. Is there any such thing? So she said never. It's never happened.
So,
and I said any other thing that even after the marriage, whatever has happened.
Right.
But will you waver on these aspects? She said no, it's nothing. I said it's fine. Then you come like an open slate.
so it was a speculation from her end.
Why was this question?
There was speculation, suspicion, whatever that was there that you wanted to clear. With her.
I wanted to clear that by yes, any kind of promiscuous behavior after the marriage will not be
Do you
done.
feel it is the right that was that the right time to actually ask her this? बेटा तुमने कभी कुछ किया है तो फेवर के लिए तो नहीं किया?
I told her the 3 kinds of people how they
The
move.
time I heard this, it broke me. और मुझे बहुत मेरे को समझ नहीं आ रहा था कि आशु how it is happening and how a person who is supposed to maybe mellow it down.
Twisha's messages over the last few months were desperate distress signals. From a marriage she could no longer survive emotionally, take me home, I'm trapped, my life has become hell, a former Miss Pune, an MBA graduate, a corporate professional, allegedly made to feel guilty for being too modern, too outspoken, too liberal. Times Now has accessed Giribala's call data records right after Twisha's body was found in their house. Twisha's family is now alleging that Giribala made dozens of calls to influential individuals, including people allegedly linked to the judiciary. According to the family and their lawyer, nearly 46 phone numbers are now under scrutiny. They claim calls were also made to people allegedly connected to the legal system and even individuals linked to the CCTV installation at the residence. Therefore, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the country is asking if a dead woman's family still fears influence, pressure and interference even 9 days after her death, then who exactly is protecting Twisha Sharma's right to justice?
गिरीवाला सिंह जी की एंटीसिपेटरी बेल एक्सेप्ट की, जो कि एक आज ऐसा ब्लैक लैंडमार्क डिसीजन बन चुका है फ्यूचर के लिए कि कोई भी साफ इन ग्राउंड्स पर जो है बेल उसको प्राप्त हो जाएगी आने वाले समय में। ये कैसा न्याय है? हमें बहुत अपील करते हैं कि हमें इस दुविधा से बचाया जाए, हमारी इंडिपेंडेंट जांच के लिए जांच हमारी शिफ्ट की जाए।
And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings me to the legitimate question to each one of us tonight. Questions to our conscience. Should Giribala Singh's anticipatory bail be cancelled? That is the question we're asking on the Newshour tonight.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining me on the Newshour tonight, Sakshi Mehrotra, Twisha's friend. Also joining me, Sameera Sehgal, Shivangi Devgan, Komal Khiani. Each one of them have been friends of Trisha, know her inside out. And I want to begin with Sakshi Mehrotra. Sakshi, were you in touch with Twisha in the run-up to her final days? What did you know about her relationship with her husband, Samarth, mother-in-law, Giribala Singh, and the distress that comes out in some of the messages that are in public domain? Did she share any of that with you?
So I had spoken to her last over the phone was in February, when she had called me to invite for her brother's wedding. And that was the time when we had a very long chat where I happened to also ask that, how is your Sasuma? How is your husband? How is your life going on? She had mentioned, it is all good, Sakshi. Kabhi fursat mein bataungi अपनी सासू माँ के बारे में भी, अभी मैं ज्यादा बात नहीं कर सकती. That time I thought that she is busy, she is inviting everybody. I didn't know that what she wanted to say. I also met her in March in her brother's wedding. She never told me anything like that. I even met Samarth, his mother, Giribala. Everybody seemed to be so nice, and I don't know whether it was just for a public thing or they were actually nice to her. Whatever the messages I have seen, I did call her in April also. She just mentioned about her father's illness because uncle had got a heart attack. So she spoke about that, and then she told me that I'll speak to you later. I called her after a few days. No answer. She used to talk to me a very limited period, which I never thought that this is the reason or if she is going through something. Because we all thought that it's just a new marriage and we should give her some space. Because you need that time. Because I also recently got married and I understand how the things goes in your in-laws' house and everything, and you're adjusting. You don't have so much time to indulge with your friends, talk too much. That is what I thought, that she's just giving time to her new married life. But I'm shattered right now what has happened to her.
I understand, Sakshi. Losing a friend and under these circumstances and not getting closure can be painful.
It is.
Did you ever feel that she had any psychiatric issues because her mother-in-law says she was on schizophrenic drugs that are given? You've known her for many years. What is your sense?
I've known her from last 14 years. Today, I realized that yes, I've completed more than a decade that I know her. And whatever Giribala has said, I disagree to this, because 14 साल में कभी I did not feel that that lady, that Twisha had any kind of illness or she had a dual personality. I'm sorry to say, she was such a beautiful person, such a sweet soul. She was, how, I don't understand. She was a person who used to do upasana. She used to go for meditation classes. And how can this kind of a person who does meditation and is such a jolly nature and can just, and she's saying that she has a dual personality. No, I disagree to that. This cannot be Twisha. I feel that in last 14 years, rather in last 33 years, her parents never felt that. And in last 5 months, that lady is saying that she had a personality. I feel that there was something wrong there, which made her mind so, she was such a strong girl and her mind, they made it so weak. I don't think that she was even weak. She just, I don't know what just happened.
Shivangi, do you really think she was somebody under pressure who would crack, who has a dual personality? And what do you make of even this conversation that is now in public domain, a conversation between her mother-in-law, Giribala Singh, and her brother, where the mother says some people use their brains to earn, some people use their body. I mean, is this even conversation that a mother-in-law can have with her daughter-in-law?
No, that is not possible. So, I mean, how can you ask these questions when the person is not even alive? So, blaming her after her death is like, I don't know what justice she has given when she was judged. So, like, I don't know how we'll be able to give justice to Twisha Di. So, Twisha Di was like my sister. I have known her from my marriage time, like it's been half a decade. And she was very happy-go-lucky person and very joyful person. But asking such questions and talking about like your daughter-in-law after she's no more is, I don't know. I met Giribala Singh in March in Major Harshit's marriage, and she always used to question on each and everything, and she always used to judge like everything should go according to how she wants. So like you can just not say anything in front of her. She's very controlling, basically. I don't know how Twisha Di managed to be five for 5 months.
How do you know that? Did something happen that you witnessed, you saw? Why did you come to that conclusion? Did Twisha tell you something?
No. I have seen her, like we were there together in the marriage. So like what time should the feras be? You should have the feras at this time. This time should be the Jaymala. This time should be whatever is there in the marriage, all the rituals should be at this way. So it's not your son's marriage. It's Twisha Di's brother's marriage. They need to handle the things. But she was just trying to control, no, Panditji do this, Panditji do that. And where is Twisha? Twisha, you should be here. Why are you going here and there? She's the sister. So she will be, like, she'll have a lot of work. So, I mean, we have seen her in Twisha Di's marriage. We have seen her in March, Major Harshit's marriage. So, but we never, like, thought she would do this to our sister. But it's very unfortunate.
Did Twisha say something to you that she felt her mother-in-law was pressurizing her or very overbearing or any stress? Did she mention anything?
At that time, we met in the marriage, so she couldn't talk to us much about her mother-in-law in like that way. Everything was fine till then, and but she was saying very good things about Samarth. We used to call him Jiju, but now there is no Jiju in the name, so it's just Samarth for us.
Well, Samira Sehgal, I just want to ask you, did Twisha ever tell you about any issues that she was facing in terms of adjustment? Of course, she was newly married. Adjustment does take time. But did she mention anything, any pressures that she was going through? Did you ever know that she had any psychological or mental health issues as is now being brought out? How well did you know Twisha, and how much did she chat with you?
I know her since 2013, and it's been more than 13 years that I know her now, and I have never seen any sort of mental issues. In fact, I've seen her as a very happy-go-lucky person. I've seen her always, very cheerful, and if she's present in a room, she would be the life of that room. She would bring everybody together, and we were just so fond of her. Everybody, all of us were so fond of her, and there was nothing like that had ever come across of, anything remotely related to having any mental sort of issues or anything. In fact, I've seen her go through a lot of ups and lows in life, but she's always come out of them as a stronger person. And, she's been a guiding force for all of us. When we've gone through problems, she's always been there, and she's always told us ways to come out of it. And, she's always had that positive approach in life on how to deal with a situation when it comes. So I've never remotely seen her having any sort of mental problems. Whereas, yes, before the wedding, 1 or 2 months before the wedding, she did tell me that her mother-in-law has been constantly telling her that, she has obscene pictures on the internet. And on her Instagram, she has her modeling-based pictures because that was her career. And, that's something. She was also an actor. She's a model. So they told her that you need to get rid of these pictures, and which she did. She deleted all of her pictures on Instagram. She also deactivated her account. But then they said that, no, these pictures are available on other sources as well, because they were on YouTube, and she's done a movie, and they were on different sources, which was not possible to remove. So, I told her, I said, Twisha, how are you going to go about removing all of these pictures? She was still looking for a solution, because she said, I don't want to upset her. If it is important to her, I'll do it. It's okay. It's fine. If it matters to her, I'll do it. So, and when she told her that, she used to call her Amma, and she said, Amma, wo pictures alag-alag sources pe hai, jinke rights mere paas nahi hai, main nahi delete kar sakti. So then she told her that this is not acceptable in our family, and, because you're someone's choice and everything, we're accepting you, but we don't accept these kind of things in our family and all of that. So she did tell me about that before the marriage.
And when was the last time you spoke with her?
The last time I spoke to her was on her wedding, ma'am. After that, I tried calling her a lot of times. I, in fact, messaged her as well, how's married life? But there was just no response. And, again, I thought she's busy with her newly married life, and maybe I should give her that space. So I did that. I thought, she'll come around when she's a little settled and everything. But I had no clue that she's going through all of this.
Well, Komal Kiani, how well did you know? When is the last time you spoke? And did she ever confide in you on what she was going through? Or was she just keeping it private and shared only with her mother as per the WhatsApp text that we've seen now? Did she ever tell you anything?
Actually, no. So I have known Twisha since 2016. We used to share a flat in Bombay when this was during the start of her career. And I've seen her as a person who was so passionate about acting. She would go to auditions. I personally have shot so many of her audition tapes. And even though, how the industry is, she would be rejected from ads or even from films. But every time she would come back and she would just behave as if, this is just another audition, Komal. I'm going to get my break. I'm going to, get a new movie. I'm going to do something. And she was very happy the first time when she got a film. She went to Australia for a couple of months, and, she she was well traveled, she was well educated, and she was so brave in a lot of things. And I don't know how her mother-in-law could even say things. We literally had one plant in our Mumbai house because none of us could take care of it. And that one plant was only because of Twisha, because she fought with us. She's like, no, I want it. And now that I see things that are coming online, and it just sounds, I mean, sorry to say that, just sounds so stupid that how can you say something about her which is not even close to the truth? And I have been in touch with her even after her wedding. She called me in January, we spoke, and after that, February was when she called me to invite for her brother, Major Harshit's wedding, and I told her I would be traveling and I won't be able to come there. But then later around March end, I didn't know what she was going through, but like even my family and my friends, my cousins knew of her. So that was like an internal joke कि अगर Twisha का call आ गया, which means Komal will be on call for 1 hour. So that used to be our ritual sort of, that she would call me for hours and we would speak about everything. And when the first time she told me about Samarth, because she had gone to Bhopal for some work, that's how they met. And the first question as a friend, you'd be like, what's his Instagram handle? I want to see what kind of person he is. And she just said that he's not on social media. Like nowhere. And it was kind of shocked because in this digital age, what kind of people are not on social media? He didn't have an Instagram account. He didn't have Facebook. There were barely any pictures of him online. And I sort of told him, Twisha, this is a red flag. You know, there's no account. There are no photos and other things. So she just sent me one photo of him, which I still remember. And I told her that, you know, Twisha, it was a joke. And I just told her that, you know, Twisha, I feel that you can do better. You can do better. Like, if you look at her, she had so many options in life if she wanted to. But I mean, as a friend, I just said that thing and I kind of forgot. But the last call that I got from her was around April. That was the first time she was, I mean, it was a very abrupt call. She just called me and she's like, Komal, I'm looking for a job. I can't sit in this house for a very long time. I'm looking for a job because job change karna hai, kaam karna hai. So I told her whatever my contacts are, I'll tell you, because we were in touch. I gave her some email IDs to apply for the jobs and she was following up with me. And then she called one of the days and she said she's coming to Bangalore and she was very excited about it. This was around mid-April, I think. And she said she would be in Bangalore during end of the month. And I was very excited. I asked her, when are you coming? When is your return flight? What is the scene? But when she called me, Samarth was also in the room. And she told me, oh, I'm going to be there on 24th. 25th was some college reunion for which they were coming. And by the time she was talking to me, she said something and I could hear him in the background. And then she asked him, like, Samarth, when is our return flight? Because I asked her, like, when are you going back? We can plan something. He said something in the background and she got very, upset. And then she's like, Komal, I'll call you back. And she just disconnected the call. And then it was just a small 5-minute call just to tell me that, you know, she'll be in Bangalore till 29th of this month. And I will call you when I'm there. So the last few calls, like somebody who was talking to me for hours, these were just like very abrupt, small 5-minute calls that, you know, can you follow up on my job profile? Can you do this? Can you do that? Which was never the case. But again, like how everybody thought that, you know, she just got married. So we were giving her space to settle down. But like we didn't know this was going to that extent.
True, nobody knew. Probably Twisha was bearing it all alone, facing the odds. But to each one of you, our condolences, hugs. You've lost a friend, but we must, as a society, as a nation, get to the bottom of this, because it's important to get closure, to find out what really went wrong. And for her husband not to be found for 9 days, does it not sound strange to each one of you?
it is very strange, ma'am. And in fact, we all feel that his mother definitely knows where he is. And she has to be interrogated. She's coming on media and giving all kinds of bizarre statements. She definitely knows where he is.
Well, thank you very much, ladies, for joining me on the Newshour. We do hope we'll get some closure. And on the other side, ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the debate, Dr. Vikram Singh, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, Ishkaran Bhandari, advocate in the Supreme Court, Abha Singh, lawyer and activist, Pritika Pava, model and actress. Also joining the debate tonight, Shoni Kapoor, activist, Barkhat Rehan, men's rights activist, and Jai Dehad Rai, advocate on record in the Supreme Court. Thank you very much for joining me on this show. My first question to you, Dr. Vikram Singh. I want to ask you, 9 days and a lady who's been married for 5 months has died in mysterious circumstances for 9 days. The accused husband cannot be found. The accused mother-in-law has got anticipatory bail, makes 46 calls to influential people, including people, who are in charge of the CCTV camera, does press conferences, calls her daughter-in-law all kinds of names, audio files surface where she is asking questions that would be objectionable by any young girl today, and we as a system are sitting and waiting for a 30,000 rupee reward that has been put on the absconding husband. Is that all we could do for 9 days?
Good evening, Navika and ladies and gentlemen. Well, nothing shocks and surprises us any longer. And I would say where there is a will, there is a way. Here, neither there is a will nor the way. If for 2 days, 48 hours, an FIR is not lodged, that speaks volumes about the willingness and the killer instinct of the police there. I would say that they've already given up. When I say that you need to be accountable to the rule of law, I also say that please be accountable to your conscience also. Had the police wanted to, and they're very professional people, if they had wanted to, they would have got Samarth in no time. And as the friend said, it is impossible for Giribala ji, the mother of Samarth, not to know the whereabouts. And she knows what she's talking about. And I totally agree with you, and also appalled by the fact that we have not been able to get Samarth. I would say, please increase the amount of reward. You began with 10,000. Today, like a trickle, in a very, very conservative manner, you've enhanced the reward money to 30,000. It should have been 10 lakhs by now. And I'm sure his relations would have handed over Samarth to the nearest police station. That is not happening. I, for one, I'm sitting in Noida. I could be of some help also. Please take pains to be proactive, have an SIT to know and understand. He would not disappear into thin air. And the Giribala's call records would be a good window to begin the investigation also. What Giribala ji said, and my last point would be, I have done many suicides and staged suicide. I give you a belt, there's a proximal end and there's a distal end. For heavens, let anybody of your illustrious speakers tell me and educate me in my 36 years of career in the police, how can a person put a noose in the neck and hang oneself? Thank you, Navika.
Well, I want to get in Jai Dehad Rai. Jai Dehad Rai, I have a daughter-in-law too. Have you seen the statements made by Giribala ji on this entire issue? Are they even acceptable? When somebody who's been an additional district judge, does she not know the law? Does she not know the boundaries of privacy of a young individual who happens to be her daughter-in-law? And does she not know the law that as an accused, she is sitting and holding press conferences, trying to malign a dead person, keeping her son absconding, and expecting and prejudicing the entire case against the girl who's no longer there to even defend herself? Is this how law is supposed to operate in our country?
Navika ji, good evening. You know, at the outset, I'd like to first compliment you for taking up this issue and for taking it up in such a sensitive manner. Really, I mean, I tip my hat to you for doing it in this manner. I mean, there's no sensationalism in the way you have presented it. It's completely fact-based, it's objective. Having said that, I agree with your very distinguished guest, Dr. Vikram Singh, According to me, this lady, Giribala Singh, she comes across, Navika ji, like a monster. She sounds obnoxious. She sounds cruel. There wasn't a hint of remorse on her face when she did those absolutely unacceptable, disgusting press conferences where she maligned the memory of her daughter-in-law. So firstly, I completely agree with you. My only suggestions would be this. I think Dr. Bikram Singh also hinted at it, that given the fact that this lady, Giribala Singh, has been a judge, perhaps she has been exercising her influence and using her influence to get this, of course, to get anticipatory bail for herself and the reprieve that her son today is enjoying because he's on the run. This case, according to me, should be transferred to the CBI for starters, number one. Number two, her bail should be challenged. She has no business to be out on bail. And third, I think a very important point, and I'm sure you'll agree with me. Having said all of that, I also would like to make a very important point, a very considered point, that while all of these are, problems and, there is perhaps a greater scrutiny required in terms of the investigation that is going on, I also think we should not be too quick to, pronounce on aspects of guilt and innocence right now. I think there is a legal system at play. Let it go back to the courts. I trust our legal machinery. I'm sure Dr. Bikram Singh does also. Let it go back to the courts because we've also seen what happens when there is a high...
But who is pronouncing guilt, Jai Dehad Rai? Who is pronouncing guilt? My question is, and Ishkaran Bhandari, correct me if I'm wrong. Giribala Singh, a judge, uses her influence. 46 calls that are made are to fellow colleagues in the judicial system, CCTV people. Obviously, the first question to even a lay person like me is there tampering of evidence that is taking place? The fact that she sits and does press conferences when she is an accused on anticipatory bail and nobody raises any eyebrows, any questions. We have not come to the stage of guilt at all. I'm saying, are these specific instances not a violation of the law as it exists, especially when her son is now absconding for 9 days and nobody is even bothered to question her where he is?
Navika ji, let's stick strictly to the law, and I'm going beyond the sort of statements made by the mother-in-law which are shocking to anybody who heard them. But what is the classical law of getting bail in a matter which is at a nascent stage of investigation? The ability to influence witnesses, the ability to tamper with evidence. This is not one of those matrimonial cases where the mother-in-law is living in some other city, some other country or some other house. This is, as per what the CCTV footages have come out or media is reporting, she was in the house. She saw when the body is being taken down. She is fully present. She is fully cognizant. In this sort of a case, getting an anticipatory bail from the district court is how usual. Anybody who practices law knows it very well, especially in a case where the death has happened just in a few months of marriage. But now the legal process which has to be followed is that this bail has to obviously be challenged in the High Court, either by the state. Why has the state not challenged it? I do not know. Or by the victim's family, which while suffering in this grief has to go and challenge it. Secondly, in 3 days, as the media reports, I'm going with a caveat that we are all relying on media reports, 3 days the FIR does not get lodged in a case where a young girl has died in such mysterious circumstances. Is that the normal policing procedure, that you have a dead body and you don't immediately register the FIR? And how was the evidence gathering done? We hear that the belt is not available or was not sent for forensic. How is that? Is that not the very basic of how you investigate a case? That is why it has to go to CBI now, and then CBI has to take actions, because the intent of the prosecution comes, even if you get an anticipatory bail, they immediately challenge it in fit cases. It has been days now. Why have they not challenged it? Victim's family obviously will challenge it, or will take them time. They are laymen. But all the facts which come out in this case, including the husband now running away, so the totality of the facts, it is an absolute failure of how this case has been investigated till now, and it needs immediate attention at the highest level, so that whatever is the guilt, nobody can pronounce the guilt here, but at least the process is fair and transparent and the usual processes are followed, not that you get special.
But in this case, the lapses are abysmal, shocking, and it can shake the constitution, the conscience of an entire nation. Barkhat Rehan, I want to ask, Samarth, absolutely absconding, nobody has a clue. Mother accused was present when the body was being brought down, gets an anticipatory bail. Allow me to bring in any example of any ordinary family which does not have this kind of influence or connections getting anticipatory bail for the asking in just minutes and hours. Number 3, the question is of the mother-in-law sitting and doing press conferences. In a case where she is accused, she is holding public, darbars and, scandalously raising things about her daughter-in-law, and nobody in the state wants to sit and question her. It's almost as if they are the rulers and Twisha and her family just have to keep praying as if they are the praja.
Navika ji, in the court of law, cases are decided by forensic facts and evidence, not by prime-time media trials or public outrage. Twisha was a gold digger, characterless.
Madam, that is an opinion. That is not a fact. Please prove anything you are saying, but before that, where is the media trial going on? Who is doing the media trial? Is it the mother-in-law who's sitting and giving judgment after judgment about her daughter-in-law not doing a media trial? When she makes a public declaration, is that not a media trial?
Who's the bhabhi? Kindly give me answers to this. What I am asking, what I am telling. Where were the mother, father, brother, sister, friends when Twisha was asking them to bring her back home? Where were they?
Oh.
So now law will take its own process. The Judicial Magistrate Court in Bhopal has already evaluated, yesterday also, they said that they cannot have the second autopsy. So everything is done.
So the Abha Singh, the problem is with the parents because they did not bring her back. That is the problem. The problem is not with the mother-in-law who is judging the girl, whose audio about, the comments that she makes on her daughter-in-law are unacceptable, humiliating, and completely crossing the line. A mother-in-law who sits and holds press conferences when she is on anticipatory bail and nobody even knocks on her door to ask her, by the way, where is your son, the husband of Twisha, who's been missing for 9 days? Nobody bothers to ask. The mistake is of the parents, not of the husband or the mother-in-law. How's that for justice?
Absolutely right, Navika. In fact, she was a judge. She's been a part of the justice system. She should have asked her son that you surrender, come and cooperate. And also, so many times we also go for anticipatory bails for our clients. And one of the biggest conditions is you will not speak to the media. And also, you will not intimidate the witnesses. You will not interfere in the administration of justice, in the process of justice. And here with her statements, where she's saying that she was schizophrenic, she was taking medicines or drugs, what you call them. So she is trying to influence the police investigation. Why is this not being looked into? The police must go for cancellation of her bail, otherwise her family should go. And Supreme Court is very clear on these things. There are set guidelines in so many cases of the Supreme Court that if you interfere with the administration, with the process of justice, your bail can be cancelled. So as one of the speakers rightly said, if the state is not going, the family can also go. And as per 483 subsection 3 of the BNSS, one can go for a cancellation of the bail. I think it's absolutely required, because the very fact where she's character assassinating, that is the biggest form of cruelty. I mean, these things are there for the police to see, not to come on the channel and say. So if she feels that everything is in her favor, she has the counselor's statement or whatever, then let her son surrender. Let her son come to the police.
Well said, Barkhat, bail should be cancelled for Giribala. Do you agree with that or not?
No.
Why?
No.
Why?
Absolutely, because...
No, I don't agree with that. The defense has placed verified medical records of psychiatric treatment. Mind you...
No. So is that not prejudging the case, Ishkaran Bhandari? Is that not prejudging the case? And what about the violation of the rights to privacy and the rights to justice of Twisha Sharma? Should the bail not be cancelled now after the violation through the press conferences that have been held, the kind of statements that have been made, and the fact that the husband of this dead girl has been absconding for 9 days? Isn't that something that should be considered by the courts?
Navika ji, that is why I said, what are the classical tests? She may run away, this may not be true in this case, but the other factors, that ability to influence witness, all those statements which are coming out, are they not going to influence or intimidate the witnesses? The second aspect, the ability to tamper with evidence. You are saying there are 46 calls to influential people, there are CCTV footages. Is that not a risk? Has that been weighed? Has that been duly considered in the order? And that's why I said, victim has the right to go to court to seek cancellation, but the onus should be on the state. Victim is already suffering trauma, and state, if it believes that the bail, anticipatory bail is not correct, the first duty should be of the state to challenge it. It has not been challenged till now, to the best of my information. To me, it is a fit case to transfer to CBI. Very often we see investigation going in an entirely different direction once CBI takes over. The other aspect of what is the factual aspects of the case, whether she deserves the bail, what was the condition of the newly married girl, what was the mother-in-law, those are all matters which have to be seen by the court, because that I don't want to opine on TV. But the classical test of bail, in this case, I don't think so. A case like this, an ordinary person gets an anticipatory bail, where a young girl in your house, when you were present in the house,
Giribala Singh,
it's not a case where mother-in-law
and her bail needs to be cancelled. And Shawnee Kapoor, I want to ask you, tell me one reason why Giribala Singh's bail should not be cancelled.
Thank you, Navika, for having me here. But I cannot give you any reason why Giribala's bail should not be cancelled. It is for the state to go for bail cancellation, and it is for the Giribala to present her point of view why her bail should not be cancelled. But coming to this particular thing, whatever Twisha's story, and I am very sorry for the loss of life and the kind of allegations which are being leveled against the family, or the Smarth going, underground and not being found for 9 odd days. Just a week back, there was a suicide by a judicial officer in Delhi. In that particular case also, the wife, who is also a judicial officer, and the sister-in-law, who is a IAS, they have also gone underground. I don't see any kind of media trial happening there. See, for them, it is said that they are taking their own resource legally. In this case also, if Smarth is underground, he is not being found, what are the law enforcement agencies doing? They should go, they should find out where he is.
As far as I'm concerned, I am against any influential people peddling influence to try and buy reprieve. Certainly I'm against that. But aren't the conditions different? This is a newly married girl. The laws in this country, what do they say, Vikram Singh ji, about a newly married girl who dies under suspicious circumstances within 5 months of her marriage? Have those provisions of the law been followed in this case? To compare it to another case, is it trying to dilute the importance of this case?
Navika, let us put the things in perspective. This case and any other case is absolutely important, and comparison should be between comparables. This case, in any case, as you very mentioned, the provisions of Anti-Dowry Act, and there are eminent lawyers on your panel who would say that there are very stringent provisions in respect of bail, in respect of onus of proof, in respect of the fact that there's a time-bound manner in which this case has to be investigated, and that too by a gazetted officer. It is one of those very serious and very structured statutes that have been brought out because of the social requirement, the Anti-Dowry Act, and also the burden and onus of proof, and the bail conditions are by far one of the most stringent that you perhaps second only to the NDPS Act. Otherwise, it is difficult to find a statute which has more stringent bail laws than the Anti-Dowry Act. In this case, I would say that perhaps what you call as a media trial is public awareness. By no stretch of imagination can we impinge upon the conscience of the people. But yes, public awareness and the wrongdoings that have happened, it is the duty of the media to bring it to the public knowledge.
Well, Pritika Pava, this is not a media trial. I'm not judging anybody's guilt here, but is it not a valid question to ask, where is the husband absconding for the last 9 days? Is there not enough evidence that is here, and should the courts not suo motu take cognizance of the 46 calls to influential people and people where CCTV footage is concerned? Should it not be looked at that this lady who's the mother-in-law of the deceased girl is holding press conferences while she's out on anticipatory bail, making all kind of allegations about the girl and prejudicing the case? Is this a media trial when we are asking these questions?
Right, absolutely. I believe especially for a newly married girl entering into a married life, like 5 months into it, she's dead. You know, it's so sad. Like, where is a husband who's supposed to be her life partner? I mean, what's happened to him? Why is he missing? Absolutely, like as you said, the mother-in-law, she's having these conferences, she's hosting these debates, and nobody is questioning her. I don't know why. Because a woman who's just married, I can understand if there was any stress going on, but where is the husband? And Twisha definitely sounds like somebody of dreams, like her friends mentioned. She would go for all her auditions. Like me, coming from the industry myself, I feel that a woman equally works hard, no matter what profession she is in. And shaming her after her death, it is so sad. She won Miss Pune. The amount of dedication she has shown, instead of being proud of her, it's so easy for people to shame her. And another right to invasion in her privacy, asking her to delete her photographs, for which she, established her identity. She actually did that, deactivated her Instagram account. I mean, putting that girl under so much stress, it's really sad. It makes me feel so sad.
Absolutely.
Like, especially
absolutely. Yeah. And Jai Dehad Rai. Whether it is the termination of her pregnancy, motives have been attributed, whether it is her mental health condition. She's already declared that she's schizophrenic. She's declared, spoken about the promiscuity in an audio that has surfaced. Her phone calls are all there. I just want one question to be answered. Is this a fit case for cancellation of the anticipatory bail? Yes or no?
Navika ji, in normal circumstances, I would say that, anticipatory bail ought not to be cancelled. I would say that. But in this particular case, I must tell you with a very resounding yes, this has to be cancelled because there are supervening circumstances. You have beautifully brought them out. The phone calls that she's made to multiple influential individuals. As Ishkaran rightly pointed out, she was present in the house when her dead body was carried away by 3 individuals and perhaps her son. And now the fact that the son has gone missing. I mean, there are enough and more circumstances. But most importantly, the fact that she did this absolutely obnoxious, disgusting, filthy press conference where she called this young girl all sorts of names and mischaracterized her and insulted her memory. I think that in itself points to the fact that she's trying to intimidate witnesses and perhaps has already done so.
And prejudice the entire case. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have no doubt in my mind, cancellation of bail is the only way forward in this case. I'm not prejudging anybody's guilt here, but certainly somebody's got to pay for all of these omissions and commissions that have come to light so far. How the case proceeds further is clearly up to the investigation agencies. But if the police in Madhya Pradesh could really find a spine somewhere, it would be really helpful to find justice for Twisha, because not filing an FIR, putting a reward on Samarth of only 30,000 rupees, behaving as if it is business as usual. 9 days later, the body of the girl not being given its final closure, the family running from pillar to post, and a mother-in-law who's doing character assassination after the death of her daughter-in-law. Well, if that doesn't nauseate you and anger you, I don't know what will. And we did a survey. We asked a question, should Giribala Singh's anticipatory bail be cancelled? Just public opinion. 86% of the people say yes, 7% people say no, 6% people have no view on the matter. Well, 86% people are now not only asking questions on where is Samarth and can an entire police force not find Samarth, and cancellation of the anticipatory bail of Giribala Singh. Please, madam, face the law. Twisha needs justice. Her family needs closure. And you have a lot of questions you need to answer. I invite you on the Newshour, and I will do a cross-questioning on behalf of Twisha. Nobody can humiliate a woman in the manner you have, madam. That's all there is to it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on the Newshour tonight. Good night, viewers. Be safe and pray for Twisha's justice.